And good evening, and hi Terry.
How's it, James?
Oh, it was going quite well up until I tried this wine. And then I'm afraid I discovered I was really, really thirsty. It does not bode well for an evening.
Let's quench our thirst.
It could be worse. Now, the wine we have tonight is a Bordeaux. It's from a chateau called the Vieux Manoir, which is 55 kilometres from Bordeaux itself. Now, the interesting part of this wine is it's from an old vine, or vieille vigne. And what this means is that the vine, apart from having been in the ground for, shall we say, 30 years plus, the root system is very, very developed. And so what you have is it's more resistant to drought and to feast. The other thing is that the old vines tend to put out far fewer grapes, but they're larger and more succulent. So you tend to get a more interesting and complex wine. Other than that, I mean, when I taste that, I get black currant, a hint of strawberry, but it's a little acidic there. So I think I'd describe it more as wild strawberry. And then there's a very good and balanced set of tannins in there. Now, to my palate, I find it a little acidic, but that's because it is a little cold, and I think if this was warmed up, the acidity would go. Now, I think Terry was saying to me that this was about £8.50, give or take, for a bottle. That's a really nice price for a Bordeaux. Obviously, once you get into 20 quid a bottle, you're into a different quality. But it's better than a fighting wine, and it's a definite quaff, I think.
I think we could end up on a second bottle of this quite easily tonight.
Oh dear. Right, anyway, put the wine down.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
Now, what are you going to talk to us all about tonight?
Okay, tonight, guys, we're going to do a couple of reviews on two wagons produced by Rapido Trains UK. Okay, these are 00 wagons of their series that they've started to produce. I've got to say, I've gone through them, James, and I'm impressed. I am really impressed with the quality of this. I know people have done reviews on these things. People have seen them. These are very well known. But I like what I'm looking at.
I've got to say, I like them as well. There are a couple of little things. I mean, to me, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about. But I like the fact that we have all the different planking visible in the inside it, so that it's more than just there's something on the outside. I looked at this little. I take it that's a handbrake there.
That's for your handbrake, because of the age of the prototype. I mean, that particular one in the front, they started making those in 1915 and carried on right until 1927. So they would have been unfettered stock. So that wouldn't have had a train pipe with vacuum brakes. That would have all been brake, as the train. So the loco's brakes and the brake in the guard's van would have been what braked that train. That is a 5-plank open wagon. That is actually in BR grey. They lasted all the way through to BR in service.
So I take it that if we scratched a real one, we'd actually find another colour underneath.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. Although quite easily they would have had to have changed the woodwork over that period of time. Being a ballast wagon, they would have been hammered.
So okay. What you're really saying is it's a little bit like Trigger's broom.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean,
right.
I think that rivet right down in the left-hand corner is original on the prototype. I mean, these saw huge service. Over 2,000 of these were made and run through they started off in the South Eastern and Chatham Railway. They then went through to the Southern Railway and then ended up on BR. They would have been in different colours. They would have been different brandings. But I mean, these things they're absolutely fantastic. As a model there, it's superb. The wheels are very free running. It's got a NEM pocket coupling.
And what's the importance of that? The NEM coupling.
Well, that's pretty now standard across all the makes. So they will have that. It means it's got a little slight spring in it. They're good, and they're not. The old Trian coupling was this huge, massive thing that came out with the same sort of concept with that lift, but it's there and it's superb. But look at that. I mean, you put that on the track. That is lovely, free running. Okay, you put a bit of ballast in there. You've got a fantastically looking thing, bit of weathering.
So what would be the different usage for the two?
Okay, well that there again is a permanent way wagon. They were built in 1919, again for the Southeastern and Chatham Railway. That's a 2-plank ballast wagon, again used for the maintenance trains and track maintenance and crew on there. There weren't as many made of those. There was only 120 of them built. They were built in 1919, so just after the First World War. And again, lasted into BR, into 1971. And that particular wagon, the Bluebell Railway, have actually got one where they've used the original underframe and had to rebuild the top bit, because obviously over the years that would have just been hammered, rotted, broken. Could you imagine being on track maintenance? It would have had to seen some really heavy work. I mean, the thing is, in a model, these are pristine.
Yeah.
Okay, because it comes out as a finished product. But I mean, this again, you've got your handbraking. The detailing is superb. The buffers are moulded, so they're not sprung. But do you need sprung buffers on a double layout? Not really. I think if you went up a scale to O, then you start looking at your sprung buffers more seriously. But what you want is something that's free running. That particular one is. The weight feels right, so that will run very well with any layout in that. What is interesting about these, the RRP price for these are £32.95. I mean, if you come to Thunderbolt Models, we give you our 10% off discount card, okay, and you then, you get a very good priced model for under 30 quid.
Now, I noticed these when they were first put out as stock in the shop, and I'm really pleased to be able to feel just how free running that is, and it feels solid. Yeah. It looks as though a child could tread on that, and whilst it might not be perfect, it will probably survive.
I would say, James, quite honestly, these models are at the sort of modelling end that a child wouldn't be anywhere near them.
Yeah.
They would be on a serious modeller's. This is for serious modelling. This is when they all tell the hobby tracks for young kids. This is for your serious modelling. If you are serious about your model railway, the Rapido's quality and stuff that they are producing at the moment is for the serious modeler.
I mean, I like all these. Would you call those decals?
Transfers. I call them transfers.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think they work really well. I love the way the matte colours take the transfers.
Well, to be honest, these wouldn't have been a transfer, James. These would have been painted into the at production level.
Yeah.
Okay. Transfers are used by kit builders. Okay, and that. But yes, they are. That is prototypical. That is modelled on what the prototype would have had. Okay. These guys do a huge amount of research when they actually make a model, so they go into depth. Sometimes I would say even a little bit too much. Okay.
Well, one thing I've
noticed,
they
produce a very, very accurate model.
Is I love the fact that it's not perfect. There are little things there just exactly as the real ones would have, and I think that makes it better. And I like the fact that, frankly, if you just put a little bit of ballast or whatever in there, you don't need to do anything else to it.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah. I mean,
Possibly a little bit of weathering.
you definitely weathering for those, especially those type of those wagons. You would weather those. Perfection. I mean, that's as perfect a model as you're going to get. Okay. They've not modelled in the flaws and blemishes that would have been in the prototype. They've produced it as it would actually look as it came out of the workshops. It's up to the modeller to do what they want, because some people, James, just collect these, believe it or not, as a collection, and they won't see a layout, which is pretty sad, because I think things should go on to a layout.
It would be a shame if they just stayed in the box. I mean, I know in 80 years' time there'll be a grandchild who's sitting there going, "Thank Granddad."
What's really good also with Rapido, they inside the box they give a set of a little pamphlet, but there is the history of those wagons, both of them, that are in the actual box. So you can come away with more than what I would call the bluffer's guide to the actual prototype of that wagon. I mean, the stuff that I've picked up comes from this.
Yeah. You know, as perhaps a silly question. Obviously, they've got all the details and registration numbers and things like that. They've matched it to that particular wagon that we've got photographs of. But do they actually produce different serial numbers so you could have, say, 3 or 4 of them together?
James, I can't answer that question because I don't know.
Oh, right.
Okay, I really honestly don't know that one.
At last, I've stumped you.
But James, I would say on that, let's toast Rapido on a fantastic model.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this, James, we'll be stocking quite a few more of their models in Thunderbolt models.
Good.
In the near future.
Fantastic. In that case,
Cheers.
And your health.